What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today I released the interview with Mr. Caleb Pinkett, a Hollywood producer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Share that video. I see it's not really doing numbers. I don't know why. I really thought that would do better because Caleb has a lot of personality and a lot of knowledge. And I think that video would benefit more people. Anyhow, so I was kicking back, right? And, all this stuff on YouTube, I keep seeing all this stuff on what's going on in Israel and Palestine and, this war that's developing over there, right? And then I say, you know what? Let me do a video. I'm gonna do a video about war in prison. Now, obviously, war in prison is nothing like war out here. Where we're seeing where they're out in the Middle East, they're dropping leaflets, abandon your whole damn city, get out of there because we're gonna knock shit down, right? Obviously, prison doesn't have that. But I want to talk about what it feels like. And I also want to talk about, I may talk about an incident that occurred during the lockdown, during war. Because it's interesting and it's to enlighten people, right? Because I think people who've never been through war or in war, they're always the quickest to want to get into it, but they also think that they have no idea what it really is. Okay, so first of all, when you're in prison, when you're in a level 4 180, you are in the most potentially violent place in California's correctional system. When you get to those type of yards, there's a feeling in the air at all times, right? And some of us have talked about how when something is about to happen, you can usually feel it in the air. And you'll see people looking around like, where's this? Where's this coming from? What's it directed at? You don't know what's going on, but you can feel it. Usually before something jumps off, the yard's going to get a little bit more quiet. People are going to start moving around. And you'll see it. Even if it's a regular pegada, a regular stabbing on the yard, you will, if you're paying attention, especially if it's around your area of the yard, you'll see it. Unless you're, busting down or something, but there's usually a feeling. Now, after a riot, now, just so you guys know, when there is a riot in a prison yard, you would prefer to be on that first wave, be involved on that first wave, and go to the oil and be able to relax. Now, I'll give you an example. When you have a full-scale riot, you're going to go back to your cell. Like the one in Pelican Bay in 2000, when that one kicked off, the whole yard's slammed, right? The whole institution was slammed, and there was way too many people to add sake. So people got housed in their cells, and after a few months, it was 4 months, they started moving everybody, right? However, there was, I believe, I want to say maybe eight guys that were in the mix. That because when they cuff you up, they take your ID. They know everybody that's on the yard. They cuff you up, take your ID. So the guys that they knew were in the mix, what they did is they housed them directly in the shoe. Not even ad sig, directly in the shoe. Placed them in pods with certain legends because the cops were scared to death. You know, there was a few idiots that, because Sharky was killed by a cop, there was one in particular that said 3 for 1. He told the Huras when they were escorting him, he told them 3 for 1. So the cops were scared. Holy shit. They're going to start hitting the cops. You know, the cops are saying, they're going to start whacking us because these dudes said that shit. So, like I said, there was a specific number. I want to say it was 8. It may have been a little bit less, and they housed them with specific legends in the shoe to try to, have them explain everything that, hey, Holmes, yeah, we did this, whatever. That's just the way the system runs, right? Once you're in AdSeg, or in that case, in the shoe, that's a completely different mindset. More relaxed than those of us that are housed back in our cells, those of us on the tier, full-on warfare status, right? So whatever the electricity is that's in the air on a prison yard prior to war, I can tell you it's intensified about 100%. You feel hatred. There are people that got hurt. There are people that watched their cellies, their homie, maybe their brother, their cousin, uncle, get butchered on the yard. They're sitting in that cell and they're like, I'm going to get one of these motherfuckers. Right? And everyone is strapped. Everyone involved, those factions that were involved that are now engaged in war, they're strapped all day, all night. Everyone knows this, including the cops. They know how dangerous it is to try to run up in a cell, search a cell, because you're not putting it away. It's going to be on you or right next to you in your cell. You're on your bunk, it's right next to you. You move over to the desk to write a letter, it's right next to you. Because if that door pops, you only get a few seconds because, they don't move that fast. But when you hear that fucking door start moving, it don't matter what time it is. That door starts moving. If it's not you, your cellie's on that door posted, knife in hand. Shower time. It's on you. If it's not you, it's your cellie posted at the door. Hoping, because we know the cops' history, we know the games that they play, so you're hoping the door cracks. You know damn well, though, when that door does crack, if there's a rival on the tier that you're at war with, there will be shooting. There will be stabbing. There will be shooting. There will be blood. Think about that. Everyone is ready and willing to either die or be killed, be shot, be stabbed, and they're willing to step out that cell if that door opens. They're going to step out of that cell. We don't have time to worry about how concerned our loved ones are about our well-being, because that only slows you down. You don't have time, you don't have the luxury to worry about anything other than what the fuck is going on in your cell, and then once the cell door opens, in your pod. Everything that's going on in the building next door, they're worried about that. You're worried about where you are. You're focused. You're up first thing in the morning as usual, but like I said, you are under a stress that I can't describe. And you want the damn door. You want to get that opportunity to get off, go to AdSeg, and be able to, what do they call that shit in the military, man? Decompress. Get out of that stress and be able to decompress. Now, I want to tell this story. It's a quick story, but I think it's an important one. It's important for people to understand how things really are. Okay, so I want to say this took place in 6th Building on B facility after the riot. Because it wasn't long after the riot when they had us all back in the cells where the cops were so afraid because of the threats that were made. They were like, okay, we damn sure can't just let them out. But how do we kind of appease these people? How do we get them to where they're not as angry? So they started running. So the only ones that were allowed to come off a lockdown and become the workers, kitchen workers, canteen workers, whatever, were the others. Because you guys got to remember, prior to, or those of you that don't know, then let me let you know. Prior to the thing that happened in February between the blacks and the Southerners, in August, there was an incident where J-Cat, a crazy white dude that was EOP, he was on hot meds, he was on medication, he slit the throat of a Crip, and I believe that was on August 31st of 1999, and they ran yard. The cops ran yard, and at the yard recall that same day, all of the blacks on the yard rushed the whites. So they had their issue, and as soon as that was over, that's when the next incident occurred. Right after that, so they had the whites locked down. They had the all blacks and all Southern Mexicans, and Southern Mexicans were the only Mexicans on B facility and A facility in Pelican Bay at that time. So the others were given jobs. They were working in the kitchen so they could feed us. And like I said, they actually did put them in canteen, and they started running canteen. They were actually letting us come out for phone calls in the day room, right? Like I said, the cops were trying to figure out a way to just make sure that they weren't a target, right? Now, I believe this incident took place in 6th Block. I remember the Vatos' names. I don't remember where they were both from, but one was from Casablanca, and I used to mess with this dude, kick it with him all the time. The first time I was on B Yard with him. This time, like I said, he was in 6th Block. I wasn't, but I don't remember why they were out of their cell, and I believe they were in the shower or something. And so, you're locked in the shower. Well, a Crip was let in the building. In that section, the CO in the tower, the cop never closed the homie's door, the cell door, right? And the Crip that came in looks, the tower cop bounced, right? He went to another section to do something, and the dude went in to the homie cell. And I remember he got one of them's address book, which is dangerous. He got one of them's address book. Whatever little bit of food that they had in there, he took that, and he took a few other things. I believe he poured water on the TVs, but he disrespected the cell, right? And his own homies were telling him, hey, don't fucking go in that cell, man. Hey, stay out of that cell, right? And he proceeded to do whatever he wanted to do. Came out of the cell, posted up in front of his cell. Cops saw him, let him in, boom. They brought the homies out of the shower, escorted him in. And like I said, the homies were able to see, because you can see through the reflection off of the tower, what they're doing. And they saw, like, fuck, man, there's Vatos in our cell. They can't yell anything out, It doesn't work like that. So they had to just be like, fuck, man. Went in there, and then they discovered what went wrong. Well, I bring this story up to tell you this because people think that's what's supposed to happen. People out here that don't know the difference, that don't know any better. And I'm here to tell you, the Crips told their homeboy, hey, whatever the fuck you took, give it back to him. And you know, one thing with the Crips is they're very, very, very divided. Um, and so certain Crip neighborhoods can't tell other Crip neighborhoods it's nothing. It's kind of a clusterfuck, right? But they were telling that dude, hey, give them dudes their shit back, man. We don't get down like that. Now what's gonna happen if our fucking cell doors open? You know what I'm saying? Like, you open the door for them to come and disrespect our pads, and that shit ain't cool, right? And the dude refused. I don't know how they worked, but so there was, because at the time, that's when those of you that have been to the Bay, after that, and there's the little things on the front of the cell door where they can, padlock the door shut so it won't open. They did that after the riot. They would take us out. They would put us in the chow hall, sit us in the chow hall, us and the Southerners, the whites, and then the blacks and others were going out to the concrete yard. And then some days they would reverse it, and we would get the concrete yard. Well, they released the blacks to the yard, and the Crips disciplined that individual. They couldn't get back what was taken, right? But they did the right thing. Because you see, it doesn't matter when you're at war, you still gotta have some kind of respect. There's certain lines that you're not gonna cross, because once you cross them, you open the door for other people to cross them. And not only that, you open the door for, like I said, taking the homie's address book, where he has his kids, baby mama, whatever, his parents' address, whatever, that can turn into something where, okay, something happened to somebody on the streets. Now it's fair game. People on the streets, our loved ones have nothing to do with what's going on inside them walls. Unless they're in the game, they're out of it. It's bad enough that they have a loved one behind the walls that now that they know there's a war, and they're worried, like, how is my loved one doing? And next thing you know, one of them gets knocked down because somebody went into a cell. Luckily, that didn't happen. But the mentality of wartime in prison, the amount of stress is amazing. But to me, I remembered that incident. I said, you know what? I want to make sure I tell that story because, those type of things are frowned upon. When I see, and that's why for me, when I see these youngsters nowadays, when, somebody gets killed and they'll put the little memoriam up, the candles and stuff like that. And I see these youngsters will go over there and they'll kick that stuff over, and I know during my era, people my age and older, that would have been, I'm sure there was an incident here or there, but you don't do shit like that, man. You already hurt that family once. The neighborhood is a different thing, but that person that passed, their family's hurt, and then to see shit like that, no shit like that happens, But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I wanted to just make sure I put out another video today. I'm still working on what I'm going to put on the small channel. Bear with me. I may even go live on there today. I don't know. But that story popped up in my mind today, and I said, you know what? I want to tell it, man. And I want to talk about what war feels like. I can't get you guys to feel it, but understand it is mental stress 24 hours a day, nonstop. Hypervigilance. I'm telling you, any door pops, it could be upstairs in the farthest corner. You and your Sally are up on your feet, and one's at the door, the other one's at the window. But anyways, that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.